Let's talk about photo and video lighting. Now, we all know you could go to Lowe's right now, spend 15 bucks on one of those work lamps, and you could start shooting photos and videos with it right now. You could go the other route and you could drop $15,000 on some fancy airy light that's made for Hollywood, but that might be a little overkill. Let's talk about two lights that are a bit more reasonable. Both of these lights are currently being sold for exactly $800. Which one is right for you? Let's find out. On my right is the Fiilex P360 Pro Plus. Now, normally this light costs $1,000, but it's currently on sale for $800, and that is extremely convenient because today we are reviewing the Falconeyes BL-30TD, which also happens to retail for $800. So what do you get when you upgrade from that $15 work light up to an $800 light like these? Well, if you're using a standard light bulb, you're not going to be dealing with the heat. And if you've considered putting an LED bulb into one of those standard housings, you've probably dealt with flicker before. These lights are not going to flicker in photo or video, and they're going to be far more accurate when it comes to reproducing color. Have you ever tried to take a picture or video under a street light and the colors look weird and you try to white balance it out and you just can't get it to look right? Those light bulbs simply are not made to shoot photo or video with, and these are. These lights have very high CRI ratings. They're going to give you accurate color whether you're shooting stills or video. Now, a huge advantage of some LED lights is that they are color shiftable, and both of these lights are. If you're shooting in different environments, you may want to match the color of these lights to other ambient light in the room. This light is capable of going from 2800 Kelvin all the way up to 6800 Kelvin. The Falconeyes can go a little bit further than that, 3000 to 8000 Kelvin. Now, one feature that's starting to roll out on more expensive lights is tint shiftability. Keep in mind that white balance just moves from orange to blue or orange to teal, whereas tint shifting moves from green to magenta. Now, I don't use this feature very often, but when I do, it's a huge lifesaver, especially when you're shooting video. We're not shooting in RAW, we're not able to fix it in post. And so if we have to match that green magenta tint that might be coming from other lights in the scene or reflecting off different objects in the scene, we can do that with the camera and with the light and get it perfect. The other thing that's great about this light is that we can more accurately match it to other lights. For example, if I wanted to use both of these lights together, maybe the Falconeyes naturally has a little bit more magenta in its color. If I wanted to match it with my Fiilex light, I could simply add magenta using this light. Again, I don't use it often, but it's really nice when I need it. Now, all of the new Fiilex lights that are currently coming out have the ability to tint shift, whereas the Falconeyes does not. Keep in mind that's a very specialized thing that only a few of the newest, most expensive lights have, but if it's important to you, definitely consider one of the Fiilex lights. Now let's talk about fan noise. Both of these lights have a fan, and the ballast on this, which we'll get to in a second, also has its own fan. Although you can hear the fan noise, the air conditioner fan that's running up there is infinitely louder. I don't think that the fan in either of these is going to cause you any trouble while you're shooting video. All right, let's talk about modifiers. Now, I don't know if Fiilex meant to do this, but the circumference of their light is the exact same size as all ProPhoto lights. So all of the ProPhoto accessories that we already owned fit perfectly on the Fiilex light. That was the original reason why we were so excited to buy these lights. On the front of this light, you'll notice a few different mounting options as well. You'll notice there's two magnets inside. You can snap on a small Fresnel lens that comes with this light if you want to. We've also got an additional Fresnel lens that's zoomable, and it has barn doors that can snap onto the front of this as well. So basically, it's got kind of like three mounting options in one for this light. The Falconeyes has a standard Bowens mount. If you're a photographer, you may recognize this mount. It's a standard speed ring size, and there are tons of modifiers for sale for this type of connection here. It's such a huge standard at this point, you'll probably be able to find the cheapest modifiers for this light, because we all know ProPhoto modifiers are not cheap. If you already own ProPhoto gear, you're probably going to be excited about this. If you already own gear with Bowens mounts, you're probably going to be excited about the Falconeyes. All right, let's talk about probably the most obvious thing, portability. As you can tell, the Fiilex P360 is incredibly small. The 30TD is also relatively small. This really isn't too bad. You could easily travel with this light But what you can't see is just how big the ballast for this light is. Take a look at the little power brick that we have for the Fiilex over here. You can hold it in one hand. It's very similar to something that you might plug a laptop into with. And then look at this ballast system for the BL-30TD. This has got to be one of the biggest power packs I have ever seen. Now, while we're looking at this power pack, let's look at all the features. As you can tell, all of the controls for this light are on the pack itself. So this is how you change the power output and the color output on this light. There's no buttons or knobs on the light itself. On the side of this pack, you'll notice 2 slots for batteries. So if you're constantly shooting out on location, you don't have anywhere to plug in, this is a huge feature. You'll notice DMX jacks as well. This is so you can plug these lights in and control them wired or wirelessly. But what's really exciting about this light, there's a small antenna, and that's because for just 60 bucks, you can buy a wireless remote control and control this thing without any wires or control boards at all. I think that's an awesome feature, and for 60 bucks, it's definitely a no-brainer. You should get that remote if you get this light. Now, the controls on the Fiilex are all built onto the back of the head itself. You can control the power output with one knob, and you can control the white balance and tint shift with the other. Now, believe it or not, this little light also has DMX control jacks on the back. So if you want to plug them in and control them with a board, you can do that. And maybe if there's some sort of wireless system out there, you could buy the transmitter and receiver for this unit. I just think it's cool that the Falconeyes has the receiver built in. All right, let's talk about what you guys are really interested in, color accuracy and power. Now, I've got a Sekonic C800U. This is one of the most expensive spectrometers in the world. I think this thing might be close to $2,000. It's supposed to be ultra accurate, and it gives you more information than you could ever want to know about any light. What I've done is I've used this meter at a consistent distance from both of these lights, and I've taken meter readings as I've shifted the colors. I've learned a few different things. First of all, in terms of color accuracy and the CRI rating of each of these lights, they're both very good, but the Fiilex is slightly more accurate. Now, keep in mind that the Falconeyes light was not quite as accurate, but it does shift a little bit more than the Fiilex. Now, starting both lights with their temperature at 5600 Kelvin and then moving down from there to warmer temperatures, neither light was able to keep a consistent output. We lost 1.3 stops of power with the Falconeyes light when we went as warm as we could, and we lost 1 full stop with the Fiilex light. Now, when we raised the temperature all the way up and made these lights as blue as possible, we lost 1/3 of a stop with the Falconeyes. We did get a consistent output with the Fiilex, but keep in mind the Fiilex can only go up to 6500 Kelvin, whereas the Falconeyes can go up to 8000. Now the big one, power output, and this is the reason that you're going to want to buy something like this over something like this. Obviously, that gigantic power pack must be doing something, and in my test, I got exactly 2 stops better performance out of this light than I did the Fiilex. This means that the Falconeyes BL-30TD is equivalent to 4 P360 Pro Pluses. Now, one thing I want to talk about is build quality and reliability. We have been using Fiilex for years now. None of our Fiilex lights have broken, and these are really professional tools. Not only are they built like professional tools, but they also come with a brand name behind them that will stand behind and repair these lights in case of an accident. Falconeyes is currently a Chinese company that I don't think has a department in the United States. At the moment, you can buy this light on Amazon, but I'm not totally familiar with their warranty policy. Now, if you go over to Amazon right now and look at the reviews of this light, there are only 2 reviews, and both of them are really negative, and they say that the light either stopped working completely and broke, or that the light overheated in the middle of a shoot after 10 minutes of using it. I've done tests with this light even before releasing this video. I just let this light run at 100% for over an hour to see if I could get it to overheat and shut off. That has not happened. We've also been using this light for months now, and we own other Falconeyes lights as well, and those have not broken on us. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with those reviews. Maybe this light will eventually break on us, but in my experience, these lights have been just as reliable. Now, if you like the name brand and the build quality of Fiilex lights, you can get a Fiilex light that has the output of the Falconeyes. We've done reviews of those lights before, and I'll link to them in the description below. But those lights cost $3,000, and this one's only $800. So if you're looking for a lot of output but you still want an LED light that's color shiftable and has the ability for wireless controls and everything, I really do feel like the Falconeyes BL-30TD is an excellent choice. But of course, if you're looking for something that's a little bit more accurate, also has that tint shiftability, and then the biggest thing of all, comes in this really small package that's actually easy to travel with, I think the clear choice is the P360.